Hello, my name's Yuri.
And my name is Jenny.
Welcome again to the Conscious Cuppa podcast, season 4, where we're exploring the divine feminine.
Now, if you've never heard of the term divine feminine, you're not alone. Curious about what she has to do with creating your reality, realising your dreams, and being and having what you do want? Then stay tuned to find out more.
Do I have to be good to get her help?
She completely overlooks your flaws and failures to help you fulfill your needs.
Can I make her do anything I want?
Well, keep the golden rule and she'll always play her part to create the good and the new.
What if I've got myself seriously stuck?
She gets you moving again.
And if my world is falling apart?
She pulls it back together.
Who is she really?
Here's a taste of what our fabulous guests had to say about what the divine feminine means to them.
The divine bit I can grab hold of. The feminine bit, I'm not sure. Feminine is not a word that I would use in a sentence or to talk about stuff or even to describe myself.
The energy that we're looking for.
Something very calm.
It's a force.
Planet Earth. The all-empowering aspect of love.
Divine feminine is whole love.
A critique of patriarchal capture of spirituality and of religious institutions.
The ebb and the flow.
Swirly figure in the air.
Then if you add in divine, it just kind of elevates that to a higher plane.
We made this podcast to pick up this overlooked, underappreciated, infinitely intelligent divine mind who resides within us all. So, grab a brew, take a pew, and let's give the divine feminine her due.
Yuri, what did you cook up for us to sip and slurp this episode?
Well, actually, I have some lovely chai masala tea given to me by one of my oldest friends, Candice, who's Anglo-Indian, and her mum said, I must try this tea. So I've had it at home and I thought I'd bring it on the show because it's a little bit chilly and a bit dull this morning, so it's perfect. It's a bit of a warmer, so it's beautiful.
Well, I'm going to be drinking it out of this lovely cup that's come all the way from Japan.
It's beautiful.
It's really lovely, isn't it? From a town called Mitsumoto. And that is care of Romaine. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Oh, that is really good. That tastes like coffee.
It looks like coffee, doesn't
it's as thick as you would expect coffee to be.
And of course.
It's really good. And that's made with oat milk as well.
Of course.
That is really good.
Oh, nice.
I need to have that more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shall leave it with you.
Yes. We hope you've got something wonderful in your cup, in your flask, in your glass.
So this is what we do. We asked 30 people to pick from 13 lollipop sticks and gave them 5 minutes to talk about the subject written on the lollipop stick.
This episode, Yuri will be discussing the topic of letting go, letting it all go, and clearing out. And you'll be hearing from this week's guests who are Melisa, Jed, Cori, Luke, Rosie, and Jonah.
Midway through the interviews, we'll be sharing a golden nugget from Neville Goddard's book, Feeling is the Secret.
And I'll be taking another slurp from this wonderful cup.
Yes.
Oh, this is all so good.
You can send in your questions and suggestions to consciouscuppa@gmail.com. That's CONSCIOUSCUPPA@gmail.com.
Darling, would you like a cup of tea?
I'd love a conscious cuppa.
Let's see. Let's go there. Clearing out. Okay, yeah, let's go for that one. Yeah, let's do that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, that one speaks to me.
Okay.
I just straight away in my mind goes straight to the top of the house and that room up there.
Okay, got 5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, and yeah, there's some clearing out to do. Just that top room up there. Since we moved in, there's just a lot of stuff in there that just needs to be cleared out. Jackie's been better about doing that. She'll go in and do a little bit at a time, but I don't work like that. I need to set a time aside and then go in and do a whole bunch and then come out. Do you know what I mean? So like a week of it or a few days of it. I can't just go in and do bits and go in and do bits. But it needs to be sorted. Yeah, clearing out is a big thing. And I've had some recent losses. This is a big thing when people die, and what we leave behind and who has to sort through it. That in itself is quite a difficult, challenging thing. Yeah, the things, the stuff that we leave behind is, I don't know, it becomes something else. When you're alive, it's your stuff, you're using it or not using it, but it's your things. And sometimes nobody even knows what stuff you've got, and then you're dead and somebody's got to go in and see all this stuff, you know, that you have, and they've got to make decisions about this stuff, your things. Yeah, and I guess I don't want to die and leave that room for somebody to clear out. Literally, I do not want to die and leave that room. Not that I think I'm going to die soon. It's not about that. It's just, don't want somebody to have to clear that out. So it is something, since we moved here, we've been saying, you know, to not hoard things, to not collect stuff that we don't really need. It is difficult, but we're trying our best to keep things down. Once we've got that room cleared out, because a lot of it's there's a bag on the top of the stairs for the charity already. And, yeah, once we do that room, we'll keep everything down. The only thing that I will have that is stuff, literally, is my records. That's the only thing that I really want to go out with, is just this. It will just be my vinyl. There might be a few papers here and there, but not hordes of things that people don't know what to do with it, or, you know, yeah, they've got to make decisions about it. So that's what came to me, clearing out. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got clearing out and letting it all go. Yeah, it was funny actually this morning. I was talking about clearing out like old underwear, but how it feels really good to, like, you know, when you give yourself time to do that, like, I don't know, like there's those moments and you're like, let me just sort everything out, like it's in the cupboard, under the bed, all of that. And it, like, I don't know, like it's like a new start comes after clearing out. And in like also choosing what to keep as well. Yeah, like, I don't know, you always come across old stuff like when you're clearing out, right? Like old memories, or yeah, it's like, it's very nice. It's a nice feeling clearing out. Yeah, I don't know, like also like clearing out yourself, I guess. I'm maybe going to flip to letting it all go, because they kind of feel the same, but like something about letting go like parts of yourself that are like maybe a bit serious or a bit like curated, and being like more like true with yourself or like who you are. Yeah, these are like really similar but kind of like also related. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, there's something coming up about like being less serious and like letting it all go, and then like letting it all out as well. Trying to be as authentic with myself and with others as I can be, and like letting go like fears, I guess, of what people might think, or what I think of myself, like how I judge myself, I guess. Yeah, it feels kind of like relief, letting it all go. But like, yeah, relief and like freeing, but also scary. But yeah, when I pulled it out, I was like, yeah, I felt like, yeah, let it all go. Yeah, I don't know if I've got anything else to say.
Thank you. I think people might be curious about curating.
Yeah, just like, what parts of yourself you hide or you think you have to hide. Yeah, I've been learning about this recently, about like how through like self-disclosure and feedback is actually how we can know more parts of ourselves, or like parts of ourselves that we've hide can be accepted when we share them, and then they can move more into our public self. And then you're I don't know, then you're less curating. But there's definitely something about like, even when I'm talking now, I'm like self-policing a little bit before I say it. Often my therapist is like, stop trying to be like the good client or like the good student, just like say the thing. And it's like, I find it sometimes really hard, well actually most of the time really hard to just be like, blah, like I don't even know myself what I think there. Maybe.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Letting it all go. Ooh, that's a challenge. What's that mean to me? Letting it all go. I don't know. It depends on the situation. If I'm placed in a situation where I have to decide which is better, which is worse, going for the better meaning sacrificing everything else I know, therefore I most likely would let it all go if I could do so comfortably. Even though it's a bit kind of cloudy, I don't know how you put it. It can be difficult. But in saying that, I've done it. Done it to a certain degree, from moving home to a new location, completely different new location, which meant I see less of my friends. I'm not in a familiar place. But to me, the door's always open on that, because I can still go and visit my friends, even though it's not as often as I used to before. So to let it all go, I can do so, but it depends on the circumstances. Looking on the other side of this lollipop stick, clearing out. Okay. Not too far off from letting it go. I would say, personally, I'm in the process of clearing out. I wait for certain circumstances to change before I start reshuffling, reorganising. And that's going to be this year. As I see my partner smiling away, sitting next to me, thinking I hoard a whole load of things. But to me, all that so-called hoarding is just stuff in the background. It's not real importance, but it's a thing I'd have to sift through to see what is important, what is not. So that'll be happening this year, because things are changing this year. A lot is changing this year. A lot is happening this year in terms of travelling, reorganising money, reorganising one's life. So yeah, I'll be clearing out this year.
It's time for a Neville Nugget.
What number are you choosing?
Let's have a look.
You can choose from 2, 3, 4, 6.
7, please.
Number 7?
Yeah.
Number 7. The subconscious never alters the accepted beliefs of anyone. It outpictures them to the last detail, whether or not they are beneficial. It is impossible for you to see other than the contents of your consciousness. Deep. On with the podcast?
On with the podcast.
My stick says clearing out, or on the other side it says letting it all go, and I feel like those are pretty much the same. So this is a good one for me, because I'm like trying to change or clearing out old bad patterns and start fresh. I don't know if I'm always doing that, or especially doing it right now. So I am doing it right now. And it's exciting. It's a little scary at first, but then I feel like after I've done just a little bit of it, then all of a sudden I'm excited about it. So I'm a musician, and I've been playing around, and I was doing pretty well. I had some success, but I decided to stop playing for a little while and try to head in a different direction. So I'm doing this thing now where every few months I try to do something slightly different. And I just did one where I had played music for poetry. I wrote some music around some different poetry, and I had people read poetry while I had a band that played music with it. So anyway, that worked out pretty well, and so now I'm looking forward to doing the next one. I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm hoping that at the end I'll be able to put some of the pieces together to make kind of a larger, longer performance or something, or more of like a thematic piece or something. Anyway, so that's kind of fun direction to head.
Clearing out is something I need to do to the clothes in my room, and I acknowledge that fully. There's a reason why I don't do that, which is it's effort. It takes a lot of work to clear out. It takes a lot of time. And there's a lot of decision making involved in clearing out, because you don't want to be clearing out everything. Clearing out is tending to something. It's choosing what stays and what goes. And I think a lot of people have a lot of decision fatigue from making decisions every day, every single minute. And that allows clutter to accumulate because we're not clearing out, because we are tired of making decisions of what to keep and what to get rid of. But I think it is important that I do it, and that I save energy to clear out, physically and mentally, because the act of choosing what stays and goes is so important for being intentional, and like surrounding yourself physically with the things you want will allow you to create a life that you've chosen. It's not that you can fall into circumstances, but then, or you can move into a new place and it be convenient based and not something you've necessarily chosen. But when you start clearing out and tending to that space and making decisions, active decisions about what's around you, that's when you feel like you, first of all, have a home because it's something you're putting effort into. And second of all, you can live intentionally and you're not just drifting, even if it's at home, even when you're like, and that's when your brain is turned off and you don't want to be making decisions. But because you've done that act of clearing out, you can still feel like you have choice and you have agency, even when you're not exercising it. And I think the same thing goes for the mental clearing out. But I think obviously the mental clearing out is trickier to define and can be painful. I think it's important because for the same reasons as physically clearing out, it allows you to live intentionally. If you're clearing out mentally, things that don't serve you or that you know you need to let go, once you do that, and it's not something that you can just throw away in the same way that you could a physical item, but once you do that and you practice clearing out and you get rid of things that aren't serving you, it's that same idea of I am in control of my life and I am the one deciding what stays and goes, which I think is something we all want to feel. So that's what clearing out means to me.
This one is letting it all go. This is really difficult for me to do because I'm a compulsive muller. Like, I mull over things constantly, incessantly. When I'm at my worst, it's really difficult for me to get out of the retrospective mode. And I think in making art, the difficulty in like thinking about things so much, thinking about the past or, obsessing over the, my history or whatever, in making art is that in order to create, I need distance from myself. Like, I've set it up so that in order to create art that I feel good about, or art that is like sincere, I need to have distance from everything, which is nice when it works. Like, I had a professor once who would say that it's better to forget because it will re-enter your work what you forget in a more beautiful way, which I really like that sentiment. But I can't stop obsessing, you know? Like at its best, when we are making music or something, it's like the song, I'm not thinking about my life, or I'm not thinking about baggage. I'm thinking about the song. And then it's only after the song is done that I realize that I was actually processing my life, which I think is a really beautiful thing when that happens. But when I'm in the thick of it, and I'm still sort of like obsessed with drawing these lines, when the baggage is still at the forefront of my conscious, it's impossible for me to create. And to make art from the place of, I want to process this, I think diminishes the product that I create. Even if it is somehow affirming or validating internally, to like walk through the ways that things were. Like I can write like a whole book about gossip, or about like things that made me upset in the past year, or what affected what, or what happened, you know. But it wouldn't be productive spiritually or artistically, because I don't actually give a darn about any of that at all. Like, truly, I don't care. And I have this like double consciousness where I'm like so tied up in everything, social relations or whatever, or like, honestly, like you can assign so much weight to, maybe it's beautiful, like or it's a beautiful gift that you can assign so much prominence and weight to anything that it can take over your life. But it's so difficult not to do that all the time. I feel like I have charts going in my brain. Like I chart things instead of processing them. Just diagrams and stuff. I don't know how to let it all go. I feel good when it's synthesized. Like listening to our first record, or when we made that, I was like, nice. Like I did it. Like it was worth it because we have this artifact. And the artifact wasn't even about any of that. And then it still ended up being this sort of like, like the prism, you know, all of it got to be siphoned through this one thing. I used to say, back when I was like, had been sober for a really long time, and I like really felt like I had a take on how things worked, I would say that like you can either like kill yourself and like die on drugs and like be obsessed with the like nitty gritty social details and like surround yourself with gossip and hedonism or whatever, and that's as equally as valid a way to live as to try and seek enlightenment. But there's no in between. Like you can only live a life of darkness or live a life of light, and the choice will kill you, the in between will kill you. But like at this point, I am in like a completely different headspace than that, and it's not so black and white, you know. And I feel like all I know is ambiguity once again, somehow. So that's my conclusion from letting it all go. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
There is now overwhelming evidence that the cuppa is in fact conscious.
We had a nice listen to
our wonderful guests.
Yeah, including a couple of Americans.
Yes, my lovely stepbrother Luke, all the way from Connecticut.
Yeah, that was a short little interview.
Yes, it was. It was over dinner. I pounced on my family and said, right, I've got some lollipop sticks. Let's have ya. Clearing out and letting go is been a theme probably as long as I can remember. Bit like our last guest, Jonah, there's a lightness and a dark to it.
Uh-huh.
The lightness is the letting go and the refreshing and the making space, and I love that. The darkness is when you discover the things that aren't very nice or the things that have been hidden.
In that attic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely am in touch much more with how I process information and life and experiences. There is very few things that I'm not willing to let go of. Most of those things are people. I love the people that are in my network. I really cherish them. I love the experiences. But those experiences are changing and evolving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go all the way back to Melisa. She was talking about this physical clearing out. I really relate to this.
The top room.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's top room. And I definitely have these cycles like Jackie of clearing out that I'll go in and I'll do a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I'm off to do something else. I feel like my life, I've lent into that process, that spiritual process, that physical process, that mental process, because once I've said yes to something,
yeah,
I'm allowing it to take place in my life.
Uh-huh.
It's a sage power that it takes you on this journey. You've asked it to take you on this journey, this beautiful dance of willingness is about new conversation. So letting the old conversation go and really deciding what it is this new conversation sounds like, feels like. So the conversations I now have are of value, are of being seen, of being appreciated, because I've learnt to value, appreciate myself.
Tell us more about how you were willing to sacrifice some of the stuff that was up in your top room of your mind. And people talked about having time set aside. Is that something that you've had to consider? The reason I'm asking you is because, yes, you want the new thing, but that means you are going to have to let go of some old things.
To start with the time that you asked me about.
Uh-huh.
So first thing in the morning, last thing at night, just as I'm going to sleep, this is when I'm giving the energy to what I do want. I'm revising these conversations I've had that perhaps didn't quite go the way I want, but reveal what I do want.
Uh-huh.
Like Neville says, interrupt it as it's happening. So I might be thinking of something, having a little moan, bit like you said last episode as well, that sometimes you wake up with a little bit of a moan.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all right to have a little bit of a moan, but try and interrupt that with what you do want, because actually it's offering you to step into something new, to go into her storehouse and have that thing that's the upgrade of this. That's not the thing. The moan isn't the thing. The thing that you don't want, the sadness, the loss, the lack, that's not what you want, but it's offering you what you do want. So I think that's really important. I hope that answers some of what you asked about. What happens when we're emotionally engaged with what we do want is we begin to we give attention to what we do want, and therefore what we don't want disappears out of sight. It dissipates. I had this beautiful experience. I was having some counselling, and the counsellor was asking questions, and I turned myself from what I didn't want to what I did want. And that moment where I was actually stood up and did the movement has really stayed in my mind. Once I'm looking forward, once I'm navigating and my eye is on the prize, my feeling is on the prize, my heart is in that space, then as I walk into that room of requirements, as I go to the divine feminine, that thing, I see it, I feel it, I'm magnetized towards it.
Yeah, because we're now in that territory where you're experiencing yourself having been what you did want. So you're in an experience of feeling fulfilled.
Mm.
And it's a bit like when you stop watering a plant, it starts to wither, the dissipation you're talking
Yes.
about. Then everything else that is not in line with that is not going to be woven into the tapestry of this new cloth, this new material, this new matter that is going to be produced in my world. So everything is going to be let go of, and it's going to diminish and dissipate, like you say. It's going to be stuff left on the floor when she's weaving together this new world for me.
I like that. It's this new world, this relief means that you don't have the old stuff that isn't helpful and isn't loving woven in. So all of that is shed. Yeah. It's on the floor. It's left behind as a matter of consequence of what you do want and being faithful and giving your attention to that.
Yes. What's wonderful I like about this technology is that you don't have to do anything to get rid of the old plant that you don't want, and you just simply turn the watering can to this new flower, to this new bud, to give it all your attention, your sunshine and your rain.
Yeah, I really like that.
So you don't actually have to. God, it would be a bit like somebody just turns up and clears out your attic for you because you're giving all your attention to the new items, the new objects, and everything. It would be like things turn into dust.
It's the ease of it.
Well, Jed was talking about the memories. The memories of who I used to be and what I used to have, all of those are dissipated as well. What is in my room now is not what was in there 20 years ago. So there's a kind of easeful clearing out that has been happening too.
You know, I've been a person that's really kind of gone at it really hard and thinking I have to, and I think some of our guests were really talking about the bit disciplined, bit hard, but actually when we take a more easeful approach, this alpha and omega just happens within us as we fall in love with these new, be it from a new pair of curtains. Of course, you're going to take down the old ones when you get a new pair of curtains. Yeah. This isn't a hard decision because you've got that, you've seen it in your imagination and you've fallen in love with what it looks like, what it feels like.
I guess when it's Adam rather than your divine masculine, it's that toil that Adam has to go through, where he finds it very difficult to stay focused on the new thing that he wants.
Yes.
Whereas your divine masculine, which is your Jesus self, your Joshua self, your Joseph self, your Jacob self, is much easier to stay true to this union that you're experiencing with the new thing.
Jed was talking about this editor. That's very much a saboteur, and that is the hard work. And this desire, I totally align with this, to get it right, I want to get it right.
Maybe that also ties in with what Rosie was saying about the decision fatigue.
Definitely. Yeah. And she was talking about tending to, which brings in your watering can, and being intentional, which is lovely. And having agency, that, you have these choices. You can turn to what you do want. And the more you practice it, the more it comes about. And I really wanted to share the feeling that came up when Jed was talking about relief. That sometimes it's not joy, it's not excitement, it's not celebration, it's just relief. That ease, it's eased that tension, it's eased that challenge, it's lovely. I feel so much easier going to work now. And I brought this all about by replaying in my imagination the feeling of being at home, at work, as it were, feeling, this is great. I love these people. I love these students.
Yeah, and the ease and relief. Because you don't have to do the getting rid of according to this particular technology, the spiritual technology of just giving your attention to what you do want. You don't have to take care of the clearing out. There's more time, let's say. You don't have to do the moving in and the moving out. You just do the moving in. That saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
But there is choice involved in the sense of you do have to choose to keep your attention at this stage of the unfolding, because we're not quite at the marriage stage yet. We're not quite at the committed stage yet. You're still going to have to actively choose to put your attention on this.
Yes, this is faith. Yeah. and you know, Cori was talking about the new location and the new circumstances. So be with that. And it is a state of being that you can feel those lovely feelings of relief and joy and satisfaction and fulfillment.
Let's have some words of wisdom.
Stuff you don't want will be left behind. Embrace the new locations and circumstances. Have the feeling of excitement, re-navigating and exploring. Tending to what is intentional with agency. Giving weight and gravitas to what you do want rather than what's diminishing.
And I have an acronym, STATIC.
Wow.
Static in the attic. It's getting shifted. Sifting and shifting through stuff to sacrifice.
Oh, she's a poet.
T is for time in the top room. A is for authentic self. Authentic, uncurated self.
Like that.
T is for thinking, choosing, decision making. I is for important stuff. What is it? And C, clearing out your mental environment, your environmental climate change.
Nice. So I wanted to add harmonising with what you do want, emptying out, answering the call, and being lighter.
Heal. Did you do that on purpose?
Yes. This has been a swell sip, a beautiful blend, and a terrific tipple.
Thanks for listening in, and we will see you on the next episode. If you'd like to send us a mugshot, please do. Also, questions and suggestions. Here's Nina.
You can send in your questions and suggestions to consciouscuppa@gmail.com. That's consciouscuppa@gmail.com.
And a big shout out to our little soundbiters. Thank you so much. Thank you to all our guests. And if you hang around to the end, you'll catch our Easter egg. Until next time, bye.
Bye.
Easter egg time. I will take a green. Oh. We got Eve, First Lady. Her name means living one, and she's in Genesis 2. She provides all that you want without question. I mean, that sounds like the divine feminine. That encapsulates what the divine feminine is all about.
Yeah.
Provides all that you want without question. Bye.
Bye.